Why the West hates Russia so much, Scott?
One, we don't understand them and we don't want to understand them. We operate under the principle of if you're like us, if you are part of this club, you're okay. But Russia's not part of this club. Russia's never been part of this club. Russia may have wanted to be part of the club, but we didn't want Russia to be part of the club. And so we don't understand Russia. Therefore, if you don't understand it, then you have to control it. So we don't understand Russia, so we're going to box Russia up and put it over here because we need to control it. We don't understand it, but we want to keep it under control so that we're in charge, because ultimately that's what it's about. We're in charge. America is the exceptional nation. We're the indispensable nation. We've convinced ourselves of this. Our history is one that's imbued with the notion of manifest destiny. I mean, it's straight out of the Crusades. If you remember, the Crusader call, God wills it. God wills it. Well, there's no nation today that exists with a greater notion of God wills it than America. God willed us to declare our independence. God willed us to have manifest destiny. God willed us to destroy the Native Americans. God willed us to enslave Black people. God willed us to exploit Chinese labor. God willed us to exploit Italian labor and Irish labor until we decided that because they were white, they could be like us and become part of the club. God willed us to go across the Pacific, to conquer Hawaii, to conquer the Pacific Islands. God willed us to, go into Europe and save our fellow Christians, because that's what we're all about. God is a Christian God. It's not a Muslim God, Christian God. And then God willed us to allow this Christian God to be changed from, one that Europe could identify with, to this unique notion of American evangelicalism. It's captured America, where, it doesn't matter that the Constitution says there will be no state religion. We have a state religion. It's evangelical Christianity. They are seeking to dominate every aspect of our life from Christian. We just saw an Alabama Supreme Court justice talk about in vitro fertilization, and his whole argument's based upon religion. Sorry, that's not how it works, pal. You're allowed to have your religious beliefs, and I respect your religious belief, but there is no state religion. You just made religion a state issue by allowing your religious beliefs to guide a legal argument that's unsustainable under the Constitution. But this is America today. We have allowed evangelical Christianity to capture every aspect of our life, or at least challenge every aspect of our life. And so when you have this, when you are operating under the notion that America has a God-given right to be of exceptionalism, because that's what we're saying. I mean, again, Joe Biden, American presidents may not realize what they're doing, but God bless America and God bless our troops. What does that mean? Why would God bless America? Why don't you say God bless humanity? That would be a better statement, because that means now that you recognize that all humans are children of God, if you believe in God. But no, God bless America. That means God damn the rest of the world. That's what it says. Put us ahead. We're the anointed ones. We're the special ones. God wills it. And so when you look at that, and then you look at a nation like Russia, who you don't understand to begin with. I mean, they're Christians, but they're not like us. They're not our Christians. They're weird Christians. They're them Orthodox Christians, and they're not even with the Pope. They have their own thing. It's the Orthodox matriarch there, and I mean, it's not even out of Constantinople. They want to call it out of Moscow. Moscow Christian. No, I don't understand this, man. It's confusing to me. So, no, we don't respect them as Christians. They're different. They had the Mongol influence. The Mongols are the Golden Horde. Genghis Khan came through there. We read that someplace. Putin was talking about that. So no, they're not humans like us. And God forbid the Russians stand up and say, hey, we want a seat at the table. No, you don't get a seat at the table. You're Russians. You're Ruskies. Weren't you communists for a while? You know, Bolshevik, communists. You had that communist thing going on there. Scratch a Russian, get a commie. Kill a commie for mommy. No, 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 no. Americans are the most ignorant people in the world about the world we live in. And when you throw something as complex as Russia at them, they can't even begin to understand it. So we fear Russia because we don't understand Russia, and therefore we want to take things down. You know, it's not like, again, if we said God bless humanity. Imagine if we said that, and then we see the Russians and we don't understand them. What would the notion be if a good Christian person would walk across the street and say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Scott Ritter. Glad to meet you. I'm American. I live over here in America. And who are you? Oh, you're Ivan. And your wife, Natasha, Ivan and Natasha. And you're from Russia? Wow, how interesting. And that's Russia over there? Well, that's a cool looking house. It's not like my house, but it's cool. You guys want to come over? Say hi. You want us to come over and say hi to you? Want to visit? Here, I'll bring you some apple pie. What you're giving me? What is pelmeni? What is pelmeni? Looks like a dumpling, but it's a Russian dumpling. And you say I should eat it with I should put some pepper on it with sour cream. Damn, that tastes good. That's good stuff. How do you like the apple pie? Pretty good, huh? We put some ice cream on it too, and let me give you some little Cool Whip on it there. And it's American. And pelmeni and ice cream, man, we've done good here. Let's have a picnic next week. And we're getting along, and we're friends, and we start to understand each other, and we incorporate things because I like that pelmeni, so I make that part of my American thing. And who knows? Ivan and Natasha may like apple pie, and they may ask me for my ice cream maker so they can make some vanilla bean ice cream and put it on there. And we're getting along great because we don't fear each other, because we respect each other as human beings. God bless humanity. But God bless America. And now I view you as a threat. You ain't like me. Why are you making pelmeni? Why is she wearing a kerchief on her head? Muslims wear kerchiefs on her head. Why is she a Muslim? No, we said we're Orthodox Christian. Well, what is an Orthodox Christian? Why do you cross yourselves that way? Why are you doing that? What's going on here? I can't understand. Why, when you speak or you speak Russian, I need to understand what's going on. I'm a little concerned. You're talking behind my back here. And then we fear them. And then we don't invite them to the table. And when they insist on being at the table because it's their right, we then want to destroy them. We want to blow them up. We want to kill them. And that's what's going on here. Fear and ignorance. Fear and ignorance. And American arrogance. You wrap it in American arrogance. And there's the problem. I mean, America is the world's biggest problem. Straight up. We should be the world's greatest solution. We should be the people that the world turns to and says, hey, you're sort of rich and wealthy. Why don't you come here and help us out? But see, we can't help you out of the kindness of our hearts. We can only help you out if we get an advantage. What's in it for us? What's in it for us? So much for Christianity. Because Christianity, I thought, was about helping people. Here's the shirt off my back. I'll raise funds. I'll charitable contributions. I'm here, not a selfless service. Did Jesus wake up every morning and go, what's in it for me? Come on, Peter. Come on, James. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Mary, what's in it for me? No, that's not how Jesus operated. Not, I believe, but that's how America operates. What's in it for me? I'm sick of the fact that we call ourselves a Christian society. First of all, it's an insult to Muslim Americans. It's an insult to Buddhist Americans. It's an insult to people who say, I don't want to do religion, and America gives me that option. Christianity is a personal decision. If you want to embrace it, then live it. If you're going to call yourself a Christian, live it. Live the Christian lifestyle, which is supposed to be, again, selfless service to others. No, America's just nothing but we're just a huge nation of hypocrites from the top to the bottom. And if you believe that America is an exceptional nation, the exceptional nation, an indispensable nation, then you're the problem. You're not the solution. We're a nation. We're powerful. We have influence, but we should be using that influence for the betterment of the world, not just the betterment of America.
Thank you so much, Scott. Can I add one thing to what you just said?
Yeah.
I know this was a question to you, but since I'm still here in Moscow for a few more days, I will speak from my personal experience because I think usually, let's say, people hate people when they are jealous of those people. So why the West hates Russia is because the West is jealous of Russia, is jealous of the resources, is jealous of the beauty, is jealous of the power that Russia has. And it's true. Russia is powerful and is beautiful and has a great culture and was able to maintain it. And that's why the West hates Russia, because Russia has the strength, the spirit, and the resources. Don't you think, Scott?
Yeah. Look, let's parse that out a little bit since you went down this route. Tucker Carlson, you know, I'm not going to get to Tucker did what Tucker did. I think that 1 billion people watched his interview, and I think that's a good thing. I think he could have done a better job on his interview. That's fine. But Tucker explains things in a way that your average American, because we're dumber than dirt, can understand. And so Tucker wanted to show, why Russia isn't the world's worst country. So he went to a supermarket. You remember that? He got and he had the homeless proof shopping cart. Look, you put a coin in, and if you put the coin, you get the coin back, and people return it. Won't be off doing other things. All right, people attack that, but he's sort of right. I mean, you don't see Russian homeless running around with a bunch of shopping carts. I can go literally right down the road here, and I can find 3 shopping carts on the hill that have been pre-positioned by the homeless community that lives on the hill at this time of year too, that everybody knows about, but nobody's doing anything about. There they are, the shopping carts, and they took them from the Walmart down the road, but because it's there and free picking. But that's not the point. The point is he went and he filled it up with what he said was a week's worth of groceries. And he anticipated that it would cost, $400 some odd, and then it cost him $100 and some odd. And, he's like, see, you're not paying as much. And that's a good point too. But people were talking about, well, higher standard of living, da, 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 da. He said something interesting when he did the McDonald's thing. He said, tastes good, but there's no GMOs in it. And the implication was that the food was healthier. But even that's not really the point that Tucker made a point without realizing he made the point. Ask yourself as you go through your supermarket, especially the vegetable section, where your vegetables come from. And most of your vegetables come from California. And they are harvested, and your citrus comes from Florida. Ask yourself how they're harvested. Who does the harvesting? And then ask yourself, at the same time you're asking yourself that question, ask yourself what your stance is on border security in Mexico, with Mexico. Because you do know that all that stuff that's harvested is harvested by primarily undocumented illegal aliens that come in from Mexico, who live a relatively slave-like existence. Even though we don't officially have slavery today, we definitely have indentured servants, especially undocumented aliens who have no rights and therefore are afraid to speak up when they get raped, when they're robbed, when they're abused, when contracts are violated. That's that. And so when you buy that, you're buying the system. You're saying, I approve of this system because I want fresh vegetables at a price I can afford. Now ask yourself how that stuff got to market in Russia. And you'll know that Vladimir Putin basically helped reform Russian agriculture, which was thrown into the dumps by Boris Yeltsin and broken by the Soviets. And he did it by encouraging private farmers to grow crops on their own territory, and then they would harvest that. Then they come together in a collective and they bring it in, the efficiency rate and all that stuff. But the bottom line is the Russian agricultural section is thriving today, and a large part of it is small property owners who have turned this into a viable production. And it's not harvested by illegal aliens; it's harvested by Russians who pocket that money, and it's part of how the Russian economy is turned around. So it's not just healthier for you. The Russian produce is healthier for Russia because it comes from a system that is designed to strengthen Russia, not exploit the vulnerabilities of illegal aliens. So I don't know if Tucker realized he was making that point, but when I heard Jon Stewart, it's the price of freedom. Hey, John, you're a dick. And the reason why I say that is that Jon Stewart's famous for calling out Tucker Carlson. He helped destroy Tucker Carlson's career. When Tucker was a talk show host on CNN's Crossfire, Jon Stewart went on that show and called Tucker Carlson the dick. And Tucker Carlson was a dick, and CNN fired him and closed down the show. So, Jon Stewart, I'm calling you out right now. I've been on your show. I used to like you, but you're a dick. That's not the price of freedom. That's the price of tyranny, you son of a bitch. You just sat there and said you're going to not do. This is a man who claims he wants to do things for people. I've seen Jon Stewart. You know, he gets up there and supports different causes here, there, and everywhere. Some of the causes are worthy of support. But if you're going to sit there and say that's the price of freedom, then you're saying that you support slavery in America today, because that's how we get our crops. Modern day slavery. You support indentured servants. You support illegal immigrants being abused by a privileged population. That's the price of freedom, John. No. Anyways, sorry, I went off on a tangent there.